I am welcoming Yuliya Benedziktavich, a candidate for Ward 5. Welcome, Yuliya.
Hello, Marge. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I am so glad that you could join me today. Yuliya, I am looking forward to hearing the responses to some questions I sent you a while ago.
Mhm.
I'm asking you to respond to each question within 2 minutes. So, first question. How would you describe the value of our heritage, and how would you like to see Richmond Hill's 150th anniversary celebrated next year?
Okay, so for the first part of the question, I feel like the value of our heritage is actually in our people. Uh, it's very nice to see that people in Canada and in Richmond Hill as well are very kind towards one another, and they're also very kind to the nature. So, for example, it's really nice to see how when a family of geese is passing the road and people in the cars, they're just waiting for them to pass by, and they're so patient. And
Mhm.
this is something very valuable about all Canadians. And even if you go to social media, you will see that this is something that is distinguishable about our people.
Mhm.
And in regards to the second part of the question, as a young adult, and I live in Richmond Hill as well, I feel like there is not much entertainment yet in Richmond Hill. It's not very exciting. We don't really have much places to go in the evenings after work. But ideally, what I would like to see is a secluded area, some public square, somewhere in the middle of Richmond Hill, so it's convenient for all people together, but for large crowds. So we
Mhm.
could see fireworks, we could gather some small businesses, local businesses, maybe create some evening market so people could actually go outside with their families, meet new people,
Mhm.
see local things that are being offered here in Richmond Hill, get some yummy food,
Mhm.
and see fireworks.
Yeah.
This is something that I would appreciate, and we don't
Okay.
have it, unfortunately.
Very good. Okay. Second question. The majority of Richmond Hill residents are very car dependent. This has us with a large carbon footprint, thus contributing to the degradation of our environment. Do you see us resigned to live like this? Would you support changes to the municipal zoning rules to permit non-residential uses in areas that are now strictly residential? Should new subdivisions be designed differently?
For the cars, I think that we are a very car-centric city, and I see it as a problem. And I don't think that we should live like that. I don't think so, because there are examples out there, like Netherlands, for example. They used to be a car-centric cities in the country as well, but they changed their ways. They created more passages for bicycles that are safe for people to ride. They created more walkable zones, and that's another thing that I would really appreciate Richmond Hill to have more walkable zones for people. And in such a way, I think it would be possible to actually create a less car dependent city,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very important to do, because it's everything is so spread apart. It's even inconvenient. Not only it leads to carbon footprint, it is inconvenient, it creates traffic jams, it brings cars towards smaller streets, and they're not designed to have so many cars. For the subdivisions, I think that we definitely should be making them differently, taking into account, first of all, the huge amount of cars that is coming from condos and new buildings that are being developed, and our streets are not designed for that. But also, we need to think about public. We need to think about where kids are gonna go to school when they start living in those places, where they're gonna have entertainment. We need more libraries. We need more walkable zones for these things, for people, and more parks for
Mm-hmm.
recreation. And within the second part of your question, could you please repeat that?
Should new subdivisions be designed differently?
Oh, yeah, that's the third part, I think.
About changing municipal zoning rules?
Yeah. Um, I I wanna understand it completely. Do you mean that within residential areas? Should there be anything? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like would you, we live very close together. Should there be coffee shops and daycares and, place to go and get your
Yeah.
hair cut?
Yeah, that sounds like a very great idea to me personally. But as a counselor, if in case I get elected, what I would think it's important to actually listen to what people in each area say, because some people may find it as a lovely idea. Others may think that it will create more traffic, more crowds, and maybe they want to live a bit further from all the chaos that is happening, let's say, in downtown Richmond Hill or, in more busy areas. So it really depends on each area and on each neighborhood by itself, I think.
Okay. And should new subdivisions be designed differently?
Yes, for sure. That's what I was saying, because if you build more housing, we need to think about how to accommodate people who are going to live in those houses, or in condos or in townhouses. We need to create spaces for children. We need to create schools and libraries and walking zones and parks. For sure. And we definitely need to think about the way our streets are meant for cars, because right now, with all the buildings and all the developments happening at Young, it increases traffic.
Yep. Okay. Next question. What do you see as Richmond Hill's vulnerabilities?
We are coming back to the previous questions a little bit, and I covered it a little bit in the previous answers, but definitely condos that are being built right now along Young Street. They are creating more traffic on smaller streets like Veldrick and Younghurst. The Edgar cars are trying to turn away from traffic jams. They are going to smaller streets which are not meant to accommodate a larger amount of cars coming by, and people are concerned about their safety because cars are racing. Children are going from school, they are playing outside after school, and even adults, they want to have a walk after work. And it's just dangerous because more cars, more traffic, no place to cross the road, because the amount of distances is far. So lack of zones to walk and increased traffic creates dangerous situation. We are too reliant on cars, and you also covered it in the previous question. It leads to carbon footprint. It leads to traffic jams. Also, I've talked about this with lots of people, with my neighbors, and they are saying that taxes are going way too higher and faster than pensions are growing and wages are growing. So that's also a very big vulnerability, in my opinion, because people just can't afford to pay such huge taxes. Another problem is unaffordable housing in general, and especially I think this is a big problem for young adults, because we cannot move out of our parents' houses. So yeah. And
it is.
Spaces for entertainment in Richmond Hill is a huge another problem.
It is. Thank you. Good answers. Fourth question. Imagine there was a lottery for municipalities and Richmond Hill won $50 million. How would you like to see it spent?
So, and I also talked about it in the first question. I would really like to see some sort of public square in Richmond Hill, in the middle of it, somewhere within the buildings. Maybe some sort of, a good example of such place would be Distillery District in Toronto. Some cozy place where there could be lots of lights and among cafes and restaurants. So we could create evening markets, Christmas market. This place could be used for celebrations like Thanksgiving, Halloween. We could watch fireworks there. We could go there in the evening after work to relax. And during the day, that would be possible to make some sort of entertainment for children, maybe some art classes, for example. So spending money on that purpose, in my opinion, would be a very nice thing to do, especially if it's a grant and like lottery money. And people all people who live in Richmond Hill should be able to enjoy that money being spent on something they can have as a community.
Okay, very good. Moving to the second part of these candidate conversations, I have 7 fun facts about the candidates I'll ask you. You can answer quickly and with a smile. Okay, are you a tea or coffee drinker?
Coffee.
Coffee. Do you prefer ebooks or real books?
Real books.
Real books. Do you say ketchup or ketchup?
I say ketchup.
Ketchup, okay. What is your ideal place for a vacation?
My home country.
Okay, very good. Do you have a Mac or a PC?
Mac.
Mac. What is your favorite vegetable?
Cucumber.
Okay. And have you ever played pickleball?
I have not yet played pickleball, but I really want to try to. Actually, my neighbor
Okay.
told me about it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Yuliya, for participating. I enjoyed hearing your responses to the question. Good luck with the campaign, and I hope to see you around the city soon.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.